The West Midlands Police and Crime Commissioner has applied to take the Home Secretary to court over plans to scrap his job and transfer its powers to the Mayor's office.
Well, the government announced the merger last year, but after the threat of legal action, it launched a consultation into the plans, which it lost. Lewis Warner explains.
Who controls the powers of policing? That key question has recently been at the centre of a political row that could now become a legal battle. The West Midlands Police and Crime Commissioner has applied to take the Home Secretary to court over plans to scrap his role and merge its powers with that of the West Midlands Mayor. Today, Simon Foster turned down our request for an interview, but said the very last thing we need is a mayor who is in denial of the catastrophic and devastating damage his own government has inflicted on our police service, executing a hostile takeover of policing in the West Midlands. It would mean more cuts, more chaos and more crime.
What's been announced by the government does need challenging. I think it's a complete botch. The idea of it is wrong in the first place, in saying that the mayor can take over the role of police. Police needs far more detailed attention than ever the mayor could give to it. And then to botch the announcement and then the consultation and then getting the actual, at least the legislation through Parliament has been a botch from start to finish, and really it should stop for a rethink.
A 6-week consultation was launched in December, but only after the government had already announced the transfer of powers would go ahead. It concluded with 50% of respondents disagreeing with the merger, but questions were raised after more than 900 duplicate responses were identified, all disagreeing with the merger.
It's staggering. This is simply a last desperate attempt by the Labour PCC, who earns £100,000 a year, to spend hard-earned taxpayers' funds on trying to keep his job. Residents will soon be seeing their council tax precept for policing increase, and instead of that money going into the front line and stopping our police stations from closing, instead it's going to go on legal fees to try and save a role that we don't need.
Andy Street wasn't available for interview today, but a spokesperson said perhaps if the PCC had put this much energy into his job over the last 3 years, then we wouldn't be in a situation where crime has doubled with his force in special measures. Tonight, the Home Secretary is said to be working out how to respond, but he doesn't have long, with the countdown already underway to an election that might or might not happen.
Well, Lewis joins us now in the studio. And Lewis, where does this leave the prospect of a PCC election? Is it actually going to go ahead?
Well, look, if we do, it's 11 weeks away, right? Not very long, 77 days. I asked the Electoral Commission today, where do we stand? They said, as of now, as of this moment, there is still a PCC election in May. But the secondary legislation to stop that happening is going through Parliament. That's going to be looked at around the middle of March. Now, of course, all of that is without taking into account this judicial review. And if a judge decides to agree with the likes of David Jameson, who you saw in my report, that the consultation and everything was botched, then a judge could throw it all out as well. And of course, judicial reviews are not known for their speed, are they? And of course, both sides, whichever side loses, will have the opportunity to appeal that as well. So in truth, there is still a lot up in the air, not very much time to sort it all out.
Right. So we'll wait and see.
We will.
Thank you very much, Lewis.